is Gina Leggio of Selfless, Esteem, in which you find peace and joy by focusing less on ourselves and more on the love of God. Today's episode is about online therapy in California, Texas, and Louisiana, and it's from an interview I had with VoyageHouston. They say, "Can you tell us about your story?" I offer online therapy to Texans, including those who visit or partially live in Louisiana and or California, because I'm licensed in those states too. I also started an advice column because I wanted an outlet for combining my faith and the field of mental health. It's grown from a blog to a podcast, and most recently, a YouTube channel. The name of my business, Selfless Esteem, is the antithesis of self-esteem, which is how we view ourselves. In the 1980s, boosting self-esteem became popular, and it's still a common intervention today. However, self-esteem can be problematic because it fluctuates as frequently as our perception of our appearance, character traits, and performance varies. I surmise that selfless esteem is loving ourselves unconditionally instead of constantly evaluating ourselves. The result is less anxiety and more peace. Would you say it's been a smooth road? And if not, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced along the way? In order to provide online therapy in Texas, California, and Louisiana, I had to open 3 separate businesses because the business structure requirements were different in each state. Juggling 3 businesses has been challenging, but also interesting. In addition, being a therapist as long as I have increases the risk of burnout. Even after a matter of months, therapists are prone to compassion fatigue and the effects of vicarious trauma. This can permeate their demeanor during sessions and cloud their clinical judgment. To counter this, I do self-care regularly, such as nature walks, so that I can be fully present for the client and so that therapy doesn't subtly become about my needs, my desires, or my ego. At the start of each day, I have quiet time with God, which brings noticeably more tranquility and clarity than on days I can't for whatever reason. These practices have enabled me to persevere with as much dedication as when I started almost 30 years ago. What should we know about Selfless Esteem, PLLC? I provide online therapy not only in Texas, but also in California and Louisiana. This is helpful for Texas residents who also need therapy in California and or Louisiana. For example, a Texan who attends LSU would need a therapist licensed in both Texas and Louisiana for continuity of care. In the therapeutic process, first and foremost, I get to know the client and their uniqueness, whether the client is an individual, couple, or family. I don't adhere to one treatment modality any more than I place clients into categorical boxes. Instead, I have an eclectic, holistic approach in which I collaborate with the client to create an individualized treatment plan, including, whenever possible, a multidisciplinary team of professionals and adjunctive therapy. Then I give people the freedom to let go of perfectionism and people-pleasing because therapy isn't about earning the therapist's approval. My genuine positive regard for clients is unconditional. I understand that none of us function at our best when we encounter life stressors. Besides, there's no such thing as perfect mental health. Therapists have therapists. Whenever I have the privilege to work with someone, I come alongside them with empathy and humility and without judgment. More than anything, I have great respect for people who choose to come to therapy, press pause on life's distractions for a moment, and work toward personal growth and recovery. My work is influenced by attachment theory, which is based on John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth's research and proposes that a person's manner of relating to others, their ability to regulate their emotions, and their view of themselves and others are partially shaped by their parents' responsiveness to their needs starting in infancy. Maladaptive patterns due to an insecure attachment with a primary caregiver can be improved through therapy, though. My work is also influenced by systems theory, which basically means that systems such as culture and family impact an individual and vice versa. For example, a family can be a source of support and it may in turn need support, for example, through psychoeducation and linkage to resources. Thus, I discuss with the client whether it's in their best interest to include significant people in their lives in their treatment. Therapy is more of an art than a science, so to bring more clarity to the process, I like to use outcome measures as a tool for assessing progress, acknowledging accomplishments, and adjusting the treatment plan as needed. The treatment modalities I most commonly draw from are solution-focused brief therapy, Gestalt therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy, which is considered to be the gold standard of treatment. An example of an intervention is dream analysis, which can provide insight because our brains process intense emotions through dreams. More importantly, the effectiveness of any intervention in any modality depends on how and when it's used by the therapist. Attunement to the client is one of the ways to determine this. For instance, I listen not only to the spoken words of the client, but even more intently to nonverbal language such as facial expressions, body language, and silent moments. Periodically, I check in with the client for accuracy of this gathered information. According to research, the therapeutic relationship affects 38% of the outcome of therapy. One of the reasons is because harm caused by dysfunctional relationships is mitigated by healthy relationships. Each therapist and client dyad is a unique connection which promotes healing in and of itself. Therefore, I offer a free consultation to discuss the prospect of working together. My specialty is working with people affected by trauma using trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, which is recommended by the American Psychological Association and involves psychoeducation, emotional regulation, cognitive coping, safety measures, gradual exposure to trauma reminders, relaxation techniques, and body awareness to identify emotions such as underlying sadness, anger, anxiety, and shame. I'm sensitive to the client's pace because the timing of these interventions is crucial to avoid re-traumatization. As a Christian therapist, I can include Christianity if the client expresses this preference and if it's relevant to the treatment plan. I'm also happy to work with clients of other religions or no religious affiliation while respecting their beliefs. Either way, I continually seek wisdom from the omniscient Holy Spirit through spiritual disciplines on a regular basis because human knowledge is limited. My website explains this in more detail. Last but not least, I'm an accredited provider of Triple P, also known as the Positive Parenting Program, which is an internationally recognized program that gives parents the skills they need to build strong relationships, manage misbehavior, and prevent problems from happening in the first place. It's designed to be completed in 10 sessions. Is there anyone you'd like to give thanks or credit to? My family's been my greatest cheerleaders by frequently wearing shirts with my business name on it. Plus, they give me their honest opinion about podcast episodes, YouTube videos, blog posts, and merchandise. For example, the aforementioned shirts are tan, but I added more color options because some of the female family members said, "Tan's the hardest shade to coordinate an outfit with." Thanks to that feedback, I can proudly say my brand doesn't cause fashion frustration anymore. Additionally, I've had numerous knowledgeable instructors, supervisors, and colleagues. I've clinically supervised approximately 1,000 cases, and every single consultation has been a gift because of each intern's intelligent contributions. And I'm appreciative of everyone who's given me the honor to serve them. And if you'd like online therapy in California, Texas, or Louisiana, contact me for a free 10-minute consultation to see if I'm the therapist that would be best suited for you. You can find out more information at selflessesteem.com.